My New Year's resolution is to live a healthier life and be more friendly to lonely people.
My New Year's resolution is to be a lot more successful and pay off some more debt.
My New Year's resolution is to help at least one couple with their financial goals.
So what's your New Year's resolution? Of course, we're going into week 2 now of the new year 2016. It's hard to believe it's here already. We want to welcome you. I'm Kevin Mills, the host of KOTF Radio for this week. And what does KOTF Radio stand for? It stands for Keepers of the Faith, which is the name of our ministry and also our music group. Why that name? Well, we believe that each of us is challenged to keep the faith of Jesus Christ and be His representative in everything we do, whether it's music, singing, or just our daily jobs, that each one of us are responsibilities that we're in our families. Maybe you're a mother, a father, a son, a daughter, a granddaughter, grandchild. We all have a responsibility to represent the love and excellency of Christ in everything we do. This week on this program, we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions and what does that look like from a spiritual standpoint. But first, here's Keepers of the Faith Quartet now with Somebody Sing.
Somebody sing me a song about Jesus. Bring up the blood He shed to redeem us. Tell of His display of mercy and grace. Somebody sing about the crucifixion and how it was His decision to go to that cross and die for the lost. Somebody sing me a song about Jesus. Times are tough. We don't hear enough songs about Jesus. Need Him more and more in this world of doubt. We need to sing aloud those songs about Jesus, those songs about our Lord. Somebody sing me a song about Jesus. Bring up the blood He shed to redeem us. Tell of His display of mercy and grace. Somebody sing about the crucifixion and how it was His decision to go to that cross and die for the lost. Somebody sing me a song about Jesus. Well, I'm feeling down. I need you come around, sing songs about Jesus, 'cause that's what friends are for. When I'm close to tears, I sure need to hear those songs about Jesus, those songs about our Lord. Somebody sing me a song about Jesus. Bring up the blood He shed to redeem us. Tell of His display of mercy and grace. Mercy and grace. Somebody sing about the crucifixion and how it was His decision to go to that cross and die for the lost. Somebody sing me a song about Jesus. Sing me a song, sing me a song about Jesus.
And of course, I'm excited to have in studio today, actually, my father, Gene Mills, who is a pastor, also currently a chaplain at several hospitals here in Texas. And how are you doing today?
I am just dandy, thanks.
Oh, it's great to be here with you. Okay, so We're talking about New Year's resolutions. We're already a week into the new year, and there's a lot of people. We've heard kind of some different, as the program has progressed, some different New Year's resolutions that people have. And what do we want to talk about today in regards to New Year's resolution?
Just some practical steps. I mean, I'm in the group of people who make New Year's resolutions and then seldom follow through. So I had to learn something about them and what they mean and how to go about actually making realistic resolutions and then following through.
Well, and the interesting thing is, because I can't remember what the statistic is off the top of my head, but I know that I think it's like 70-80% of New Year's resolutions. I think it's higher, actually. I think it's in the 90s. Maybe last up to about a month and then kind of drift off. What I'm wondering about, and what I'm thinking about as well, is how applicable is that to our spiritual life as well? How do we spiritually, if we have New Year's resolutions, how do we make realistic ones?
Well, sometimes Christians expect God to do not only his work, but their work too. And this is one of the issues here, is that when you make a resolution or you make a vow, whatever it is, there's certain things that you need to do that are based on the way people really function, instead of just hoping that God's going to give you supernatural strength to do what you don't normally do.
What would that look like?
First, your resolutions need to be 1 to 2 resolutions. I wouldn't do any more than that. Actually, I think 1 is probably better than 2. Keep them within reason here. And then also don't set your standards so high that you're bound to fail. And people mean well when they say these things and they do them. They want to change in the new year. But the issue is that oftentimes they don't think about what's going to happen next. And one of the things that happens whenever you make a vow, whenever you make a resolution, is it is almost immediately tested.
Well, exactly, because there's not only there's habits. Because we're not only living in a physical world, but there's also a spiritual world as well that resists us. And so when we're making a spiritual resolution, there's going to be testings not only physically, but then there's also a spiritual dynamic as well. How do you balance between the two of protecting your heart and then also protecting just the physical side, such as coming up with ways to maybe change your behaviors or thought patterns that are complementary to your spiritual resolution?
Yeah, let me first start off by addressing those who are Christians, and you've heard things in the church, like out of James where it says, tomorrow we'll do such and such if the Lord wills. And some people will just think, well, if it's God's will, I'll do it, and they just give him all the responsibility. But that's not what that expression means. It's a Middle Eastern expression that's used all the time, still used to this day. But the idea is that when you make a vow, you need to understand that you need accountability, you need reachable goals, you need to be able to mark your progress. And all of these things are part of what your responsibility is. What God will give you responsibility for is those days when you're really feeling weak. He will empower you to stick to your original plan. And if you fail, he will give you forgiveness to get back up and start again instead of just throwing it all away.
But that's one thing I'm looking forward to us talking about in the next segment, actually, is God's grace and God's forgiveness. Because, I really like what you said about just setting one goal, making it realistic. Because something I want us to talk about when we come back is a lot of times the expectations that we have, that when we set a goal, whether it's spiritual, whether it's practical, but we feel we're doing it to the glory of God. We use that verse all the time. When we fail or when we stumble, we really have a tendency to almost want to throw out the, for lack of a better saying, babe with the bathwater, in the sense of just say, okay, forget it all. I really look forward to us talking further about that in the next segment coming up right after this. Faith Fest 2016 is almost here. Come out for faith-inspiring music, great fellowship, and powerful worship, all set to the backdrop of Washington State's breathtaking landmark, Mount Rainier. Faith Fest 2016 is coming to Cascades Camp and Conference Center, July 29th through to the 31st, featuring artists such as Keepers of the Faith,
I wanna be whole.
Freedom Singers,
Over death's
triumphant.
Canada's double portion,
I wanna testify.
and more. Come out for a great time of fellowship, worship, and of course, the breathtaking beauty of Mount Rainier. With activities for all ages, it's the perfect family getaway. Faith Fest 2016, coming to the Cascades Camp and Conference Center July 29th through the 31st. On location RV sites and lodging is available, but going fast. Go to keepersofthefaithministry.com. That's keepersofthefaithministry.com for registration, or call 253-682-7718. That's 253-682-7718.
I left my family, the love I have known. I couldn't believe how careless I've grown. Then I woke up one morning in cold freezing rain. Then I said, I'll go back where I caused so much pain. Oh, just inside of the place where the lane meets the road, the Father was waiting to carry my load. His big arms are open to draw me to Him. Forgiven, forgiven, forgiven again. If you broken the trust and betrayed your best friend, if you're lost and confused, wondering where it will end, there's a way you can know that wherever you've been, you can make your way home and be forgiven again. Oh, just inside of the place where the lane meets the road, the Father is waiting to carry your load. His big arms are longing to draw you to Him. Forgiven, forgiven, forgiven again. His big arms are longing to draw you to Him. I'm forgiven. I'm forgiven. I'm forgiven. Forgiven again.
You know, something that we take very seriously and that means an awful lot to all of us here at KOTF Radio and KOTF Ministries is family. We absolutely love being with our family, and as you being a listener of this program, we feel that you're just as much a part of our family, and because of that, we'd love to hear from you. As you've been listening to the program, if there's something on your heart that you'd like prayer for, or something you'd like to share with us testimony-wise, we'd love to hear from you. You can go to our website, kotfradio.com, and drop us a line, email, or email us directly at kotfradio@gmail.com. radio.com. A little bit later in the program, we'll also give you our physical mailing address. Furthermore, we want to remind you that if you like the music that you're hearing, we're offering a CD as our gift to you for any donation of $25 US or more. You can also look that up on our website, KOTFradio.com, or, like I said, just wait a little bit further into the program where we'll also be giving you our physical address.
Roll, Jordan, roll, roll, Jordan, roll. I want to go to heaven when I die, to hear Jordan roll, 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 Jordan roll, roll, Jordan roll. I want to go to heaven when I die, to hear Jordan roll, roll, roll. Now, brother, you ought to been there. Yes, my Lord, sitting in the kingdom to hear Jordan. Well, roll, Jordan, roll, roll, Jordan, roll, roll, Jordan, roll, Jordan. I wanna go to heaven when I die. Roll, Jordan, roll. Well, my mother, you ought to been there now. Mothers, you ought to been there. Oh, mother, you ought to been there. Roll, Jordan, roll. Well, you can say roll, roll, Jordan, let it roll, roll, Jordan, roll, Jordan, roll, Jordan. I wanna go to heaven when I die. Roll, Jordan, roll. Well, my brothers, you ought to been there now. Brothers, you ought to been there. Oh, brother, you ought to been there. Roll, Jordan, roll. Well, you can say roll, roll, Jordan, roll, Jordan, roll, Jordan, roll, Jordan. I wanna go to heaven when I die. Roll, Jordan, roll. Well, my sister, you ought to been there now. Sisters, you ought to been there. Oh, sister, you ought to been there. Roll, Jordan, roll. Well, you can say roll, roll, Jordan, roll, Jordan, roll, Jordan, roll, Jordan. I wanna go to heaven when I die. Roll, Jordan, roll, roll, roll.
And of course, we're back, and this week's guest I'm very excited about, of course, and it's my own father, Gene Mills, who has several years of pastoring experience and is currently serving as chaplain for several hospitals in the state of Texas. And it's so good to be with you.
It's really good to be here, Kevin. It's good to be back on radio with you.
Yeah, vice versa, vice versa. A lot of great memories. We're talking about New Year's resolutions, and I have done it along with probably the vast majority of the people listening, and that is make a New Year's resolution, be fully convicted and fully fully convicted you're going to carry it through. And then a week after the New Year, 2 weeks, and I believe statistically it's about a month from the New Year, the vast majority of us have failed, forgotten, or just totally given up on what our New Year's resolution is. You know, there's a lot of people probably, and I want us to talk here in just a moment about how we need to make sure that our approach and expectation of God when we fail is realistic. But before that, there's a lot of people listening probably think, okay, you know, this is an inspirational programming. It's supposed to help me spiritually and uplift me and what have you. But is there really I think a lot of times we have a tendency to look for formulas.
Oh, yeah.
And so coming this new year, probably a lot of us are looking for formulas of, okay, how can I bolster my spiritual walk with God in this new year? How can I, and what would you say to someone who's just struggling with that?
I would say, yeah, there is a formula, and the formula is this. As I said in the last segment, you know, set one or two goals. At any given time, there's half a dozen things in your life and my life that we would like to change. But you have to prioritize and find out what it is that you really want to work on. Then make a plan and understand this, that you can only change 21 days at a time. What I mean by that is this, is that it takes 21 days to change a habit. So that's why I tell you to choose just one, because then you have 21 days to focus on that one thing, doing things differently, doing things in a different way. Now, when we introduce as Christians and we say, you know, if God wills, what we actually mean by that is providentially. If you make a goal that you're going to run 2 miles every day and something happens in your job and providentially you find yourself flying from city to city, sleeping in hotels in unfamiliar territory, then Providence has interrupted with that goal, and the goal's going to have to be delayed for some other time. But, you know, if you fail, if you fall down, if you fail, then just re-examine your goals, re-examine the steps that you want to take, and start over again. There's nothing about failing. We learn more through failing than we do through succeeding. And that's just the way we're actually wired. Most of us think we learn through success, but we don't. We learn through failing. Go ahead.
It reminds me of a quote by, I believe it was called a kinesiologist, described walking as a perpetual state of falling or a perpetual state of failure. And I thought, you know, isn't that interesting that we have to fall in order to move forward, you know, kind of. But so let's use that as a segue to talk about what's God's look upon failure when we fail.
In the book of Acts, it says that Paul had cut his hair because he had made a vow. Now, that's a really important bit of scripture, because one of the things you need to understand, we need accountability. When we make a goal, when we make a resolution, we need to tell someone who will hold us accountable. The reason Alcoholics Anonymous works is because there is a person who holds you accountable for what you're trying to do. And this is the other issue. The issue is that we need to have somebody, either your church family, somebody in your church family, somebody in your family, a close friend who is not just going to pat you on the back all the time and say, well, you know, that's all. You try some, you lose some. Instead, somebody holds you your toes to the line, and you feel accountable to that person. It's the same with quitting smoking, doing anything. You put someone accountable over you who can watch your life. And that's really a key part to this whole thing.
So now, with that in mind, because that really is true, it's so important, is having accountability with people we trust. Let's go into, many of us have been raised learning about and hearing about God is love. But at the same time, there's this other part of God that a lot of us have been taught, that when we mess up, there's a lot of wrath, there's a lot of anger. Where's the balance?
For me, the balance is in something I used to share with prisoners quite often, and it's this idea of, we have this idea that God is sitting in heaven. At least I did before I was a Christian. I had this idea that God's in heaven with a baseball bat, just waiting for you to mess up. And my attitude was, well, if that's the case, then I'm just going to really mess up big time, so that when I get hit, it's worthwhile. But, the thing is that God is the encourager. The Bible describes him as standing with his arms outstretched towards us. We see the heart of God in the story of the prodigal son. We see God encouraging us to step to places we've never been before. And when we fall, he doesn't kick us when we're down. He encourages us to get back up. He encourages us to continue the race. For God so loved the world that he gave his son. That's an important scripture for you to hear that part of it, because it's not just about salvation and it's not just about going to heaven or hell. God is a father to his children, and he wants to encourage you to rise higher and to do better, and he understands your failings. It doesn't mean he justifies them, doesn't mean he ignores them, but what he does understand is he understands that you're man, you're flesh, and you're weak, and you mess up, and that he wants you to get back up and to try again.
Calvary, Jesus my Lord suffered for me, carry the cross all the way, my sins to atone. Then they nailed him to the cross, great was the pain and the loss, he suffered it all, because he loves me. Was crucified. No greater love for mortal man has ever been known. All praises dear name, he loves me so. Now I am his, he's mine, I know. He suffered it all, because he loves me. Carried him away, placed him in a lonely grave. Surely they thought that this would be the end of this man. But on that third and glorious day, God came and rolled the stone away. He rose from the dead, because he loves me.
As our program draws to a close this week, we pray that you have been encouraged and blessed, and above all else, drawn closer to the Lord through the music and the words that you've heard this week. We also hope from all of us here at KOTF Radio and KOTF Ministry that your new year has been going well so far. As we mentioned earlier in the program, we would absolutely love to hear from you. Prayer requests, testimonies, just to drop a line and say hi. Go to our website, kotfradio.com. There you'll find an email form that you can reach out to us, or if you'd like to email us directly, you can email us at KOTFradio. That's K as in Kilo, O as in Oscar, T as in Tango, F as in Foxtrot, radio at gmail.com, and email us directly there. If you'd like to drop us a line at our physical address, here it is, 8402 175th Street, Court East. A little tricky. The name of the city, Puyallup. That's spelled P as in Papa, U as in Uniform, Y as in Yankee, A as in Alpha, L as in Lima, L as in Lima, U as in United, P as in Papa, the state of Washington, zip code 98375. That again, zip code 98375. And we'd also like to remind you that if you like some of the music you're hearing on this program, you can get one of our CDs for free as our gift to you for a donation of $25 US or more. And of course, you can look that up by going to our website, kotfradio.com, or by emailing us at the physical address that we gave a little earlier. We look forward to the time we'll be spending with you next week as we talk about freedom. And what does that mean in light of the cross and in light of our walk with God? Until next time, from all of us here at KOTF Radio and KOTF Ministries, aloha and mahalo.